Hey everyone, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to see if I can 3D print, assemble, and paint an entire Team Yankee army in 2 weeks. That's right, you heard me. I thought I'd hop on the bandwagon and try it out. If you haven't seen my review of my new 3D printer, I was 3D printing a lot of things over the last week, including a ton of stuff for the new Checkpoint Charlie release for Team Yankee. So I thought it would be fun, since I was printing stuff anyway to test out the new printer, to see if I could print a Checkpoint Charlie army from scratch. So the idea is we're going to be printing an American army from scratch. Now I say from scratch, I'm actually going to be using some models. It's not quite exactly from scratch. I am going to be using some models I've already have in my collection. For example, American infantry and which are Battlefront models, which I like. I didn't 3D print any 15mm infantry. And I had some M113 transports left over from Vietnam, so they're their exact correct color and all that. So no point reinventing the wheel with the models I already had. But I am printing well over 100 points of models to make a list for Team Yankee. The list I'm going for is, I believe, the recon list. So it has the M114 recon vehicles as well as the Sheridan tanks with a bunch of stuff in support. Let's take a closer look at the models and talk about the plan. All right, here's what I've printed so far. I really haven't cleaned up much at all. I just took them off the supports and they have been cured, but I really haven't cleaned up too much. So I do have some cleanup work done, but I've got, let's see really quickly, we've got M14s over here, M106, which is the mortars. We got a pile of Sheridans there, probably more than I need. A pile of M48 Pattons, some in the back corner, some M60 A2 Starships, some M42 Dusters, anti-aircraft, and then some Phantoms in the back. I'm probably going to be doing reviews of some of these models separately, so I'm not going to go into too much detail here over what they are, but I will try to leave a link down in the description below. Some of these models were paid for. I bought the design. For example, the M114 I did. Some of them were free and are awesome. So we'll talk about those in those individual kind of model reviews. So this is where we are here. And here we go. Everything is assembled. Sorry, I've got a printer running in the background. It took me about 3 attempts. I had to print these a couple times to get right size to match the Battlefront models. But everything's here that I'm going to need to finish my army, besides what I've already mentioned that I've got built that I'm using Battlefront, mainly my infantry and APCs. I even finished all 4 Phantoms, although I think my list is only going to have 2 of them. I don't know if I'll have decals ready in 2 weeks, but I did get my decals in the mail for these. So next up, we're going to prime them. Well, the project is close to being done. I think for the most part the armor is done. I have a few things here and there that I'd like to get done before my game. I've still got 5 days, so I'm not going to sweat about it. I've got the majority of the work done, and the army is in a completely playable state. I do need to hit a couple of these guys with some matte varnish, but really that's about it. What did I complete? Well, I've got the M114, which is like a baby reconnaissance version of the M113. I want to do the Mechanized Recon Company. I think that's what that's called. First, so I think that's what I'm going to play against Mark. So I wanted to make sure that, sorry, it's called the M114 Armored Cavalry Troop. And basically it's a bunch of units of 2 of these little guys. What I did to denote the commander, since I don't really have, this STL didn't have any crew, I didn't want to mess with it. Basically, I named the HQ tank in each platoon. So this is Jane, and this is Judy 2. You can see lots of decals. So even though these are primarily, brown violet or olive drab, whatever you want to call it, with the names I can tell them apart, and I can know which one is the HQ in each little section of 2. The same thought with the Sheridan tanks. That's these guys. These are the ones with the Shillelagh missiles. If I gave them a name and an American flag, that's the HQ tank. Otherwise, these come in units of 3. So you can see they had some stowage 3D printed, which I think always adds to it. If I had more time, I might look for an STL for 15mm tank stowage and put it on a bunch of these tanks. But like I said, I'm not going to worry about it right now. Overall, the process, just to go over it one more time, basically I airbrushed, I think it was AK, their, olive drab, and I had a couple of different shades, a dark one and a lighter shade on top, and then I gave it an overall wash. Then I dry brushed it back up, and then I put on the decals. And then it got, first I put Future Floor Wax down where the decals would go. I put the decals on, gave it another coat of Future Floor Wax. Then I applied pigments for dirt and stuff, and I see that I didn't go as hard as I should have with the dirt. I see it on some tanks, but not everything. And then finally a matte varnish, but like I said, I didn't get everything, and I feel like I missed a few spots. There is a little silvering on some of the decals, some of the older decals, the older Battlefront ones. So I don't know if it's necessarily the Battlefront decals or just that they were really, really old. But maybe I'll slap some more dirt on the ones that are silvering and give it another matte varnish coat. You can see I did buy some decals online, and those ones turned out pretty good. I don't know if you can see that there. And there is some dirt, so that's why that decal looks a little faded. Let me see if I got a good example of some dirt here. So that's that's using MIG pigments kind of splattered on. Gave it a little dirt, but now it's sealed in there with the matte varnish, so it's not going anywhere. That's my HQ for my mortar platoon. So overall, again, to go over, I got the M114s. I've got the Sheridan light tanks. I've got the M103s. These are from my Clash of Steel starter set. The crew, they're just in white because I'm waiting for a contrast paint to come to paint them. I've got 4 of those. I think I have 8 of the M48 Pattons. 3 of them are Battlefront, and 5 of them are 3D prints. I did have to mess with the 3D print a little bit to get it to the same size as the Battlefront model. Even then, I think the turret is slightly smaller, but if I run them in their separate platoons, keep them separate, they should be totally fine. I mentioned the artillery. I've got the M113 mortar tracks, and then I've got the Dusters, which are these anti-aircraft vehicles. So I've got a little AA in my list. I didn't want to go with the other AA options just because I have them for Team Yankee, and I wanted to have something kind of different. And then some M60 Starships. Now, what I haven't worked on at all, and maybe you'll just consider this a failure, is my Phantoms. And I think these might be a separate video. I have a bunch of these guys. I printed out 4 of them. The model is an adventure. I think that's going to be a separate video reviewing this model. It was a larger scale kit, and I think I mentioned that earlier, that I had to shrink down and I had to thicken, and I'm not an expert at that, but I got it to where it is. I actually think I'm going to paint these as Navy birds, not Army birds, so they're not going to be green. They're going to be beautiful white and light gray, and have them pop. If I don't get them done in time for the Battle of Mark, no problem. I've got well over 100 points of stuff here that I will be able to field, so getting to 100 points with fully painted stuff is no problem. I also, as I mentioned at the top of the video, have some Battlefront M113s as well as infantry that I'm going to be using to round out this list. But right now, this is everything that I've completed. From beginning to end, after printing, well, with printing, it probably took about 2 weeks. Painting, it probably just took about a week, but really a solid weekend of work. The nice thing is you can get them to this level, and then you can start to upgrade them as you want. Yeah, but you don't have to if you don't want to. Personally, like I said, I'm still waiting to paint the tank commanders, and which I've only got 3 of those, and a matte varnish on a couple things. So I think this tan gun cover needs a wash, but otherwise, looking at it now, I just noticed it. All right, but that's where we're going to leave the video for now. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do consider giving us a like and subscribe. Check out our Patreon, where you're going to see this, this list or a variation of this list. These units do battle against the Soviet hordes in Checkpoint Charlie. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, and keep on gaming.